Well, hey, y'all, we are here with newly certified, let me clear my throat as I say this, Black woman Christian certified life coach, Miss Tomiko Williams.
Woo!
That's your fan
Hey,
club in the bag. How are
and
you?
I am so good. I'm so good.
Thank you so much for saying yes and for being here and for speaking into the heart of somebody who's
Mm,
gonna listen to this episode because they're on the fence and they're like, should I do it?
mm,
Not.
mm.
I don't know. I've been praying about. Let's get into your story, sis. We're gonna minister a little bit, okay?
Okay.
So,
Oh,
um, tell us a little bit about who you are and who you now are going to get out into the world and coach as a newly certified Black woman Christian life coach. Let's start there.
yes, ma'am. So, like she said, I am Tamika L. Williams. I am married. Been married. Ooh, I always have to look at him when I ask that question. I think this year I'm not even gonna lie, I can't remember. We got married in 2002, so however many years that is. And we have three sons together, and my youngest son will be 18 on this coming Sunday. So almost an empty nester. So I'm kind of excited and not excited about that. So I it's been definitely been a journey to get to this point. A lot of pain and just a lot of different experiences that have that God has allowed that has brought me to this point in my life, and I'm grateful for every moment, every experience, every challenge, every heartache, every pain. You know, through it all, I've been able to see God more. And so, and like I was telling Dr. AJ in 2018, I told God yes. Um, and that's one thing. So there's a song that God continues to minister to me through, and it's I can't remember the name of the group, but it's they just say, "Will your heart say yes?" And I remember sitting in
Yes, Shekinah
the
glory, girl.
yeah, Shekinah glory. That's what it is. And so I was sitting in the parking lot. I had just moved to Arkansas. So I sit in the parking lot at the library, and the song came on. And every time it comes on, it's always a moment. And I know it's the Holy Spirit just saying, "Okay, are you going to trust me in this moment?" Uh, and so I told God yes in that moment. And ever since then, I mean, even before then, but really at that point, my heart was open to receive whatever God wanted to do. And so from that moment on, God has every step, He has guided me. And so earlier part of 2021, the other part of when God has something for me, usually I don't remember how I got to whatever it is. So long story short, 2021, my husband and I were headed to Texas, and I guess I was on YouTube and I ran across Miss AJ Austin, and I think I pretty much tuned my husband out at that point, and so it really went in with the videos, and because I had always loved one on one with women, and my heart space had always been taking care of yourself, self care, and all of that. And that's always what I did. I had events, even years ago. I remember having events for women. So it was always my heart space, and so it was like a light bulb, with the life coaching certification training, because I never knew that I could actually get paid, to do that. And so it was like a wow moment. And so at that moment, my husband and I, because he also does some training, coaching as well, we set out and manifested that we would both be certified by the end of the year. And lo and behold, I think we closed our eyes because by December, we were both certified coaches. And so praise God for that. And so I am so excited about this certification. It's like a door has opened, my mind has opened to the experience, and everything has just, it continues to just fall in place. And I know that it's God ordained, just simply because of that. So I'm excited to get started.
Oh my gosh. Hashtag yes manifestation. Come on now.
Yes,
Our
ma'am.
speaking language. Okay. So that plus having joint partnership, being equally yoked, walking together. Y'all got certified at the same time. He
Yes,
went
ma'am.
through one training, you went through one training, and now you guys are coming together. So, who are you designing your coaching to serve best?
Um, Women, that's like I said, that's always been my heart space. I think specifically moms, just because of, having walked through that experience of, you know, raising children and sacrificing so much of yourself, because of that, because of, family. It's like we set our own goals and our own dreams and our, even our own selves. We set ourselves, on the shelf because we want to make sure that they have everything that they need, and not realizing, how much, um, we're sacrificing, health wise, mentally, physically, emotionally. So that's always been, just like I said, my heart space of just reminding, women and moms that you have to first take care of yourself. One thing I always remember whenever I get on a airplane, the flight attendant always says, "Put your own mask on first," and that resonates so much for me. Because you have to take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup, even though we do it all the time. Until we get to the point where we're burned out and overwhelmed, and just can't get ourselves out of the pit that we're in. So that's the heart space, and just kind of my passion. My heart is open to whatever, however God leads. But that, I think specifically it's women in general.
So, you said that, you told God yes all these years ago, and you were on your way to Texas, and you tuned your husband out to tune into the YouTube
Yeah,
videos.
just a little bit.
But she said just a little bit. What were you really saying yes to? Like, what made you choose us?
So it, like I said, I and I know it's the spirit of discernment. I know when God is leading me to something, and the fact that I could not, relate back to a specific, you know, way that I got there. I knew that it was what God was saying. Okay, this is what I have for you, and it felt perfect. Having a black woman, who had been in the business, and I mean, just your personality, and just the whole experience with you has been everything that I've needed as confirmation to, of God saying, this is your next step. And so, just like I said, your personality, there was definitely a connection the day you called me on the phone, and I was like, okay, wait. It blew me away. And so, it was the connection, it was, confirmation, um, and just how you just laid everything out. If I had a question, if I didn't understand something, I knew I could, send you a text message, send you an email, and I knew you would always respond. So, the process was just, it was simple. Everything was laid out, from point A to point Z. Everything, it was just God ordained for me. So I knew that it was exactly what God, had called for me to do.
Oh, I love that. And I also love when I call y'all and how you respond. So, like,
It's like,
what?
really? Are you calling me?
Like, did you mean to? Was it a butt
Yeah,
dial? Is this really you?
it
Are
definitely
you
threw
really
me.
human?
It threw me through a loop. I wasn't ready for it, but I was thankful for it, because that just shows, your heart and your passion, and how much, if you can call the boss, the person that's, over it, and have that one on one. I'm like, yes, okay, God. That's
Yeah.
what makes the difference. Just being able to have that connection.
And I hear that a lot. I also hear, it's something about your personality. It's something
Yeah.
about your energy.
Yes.
I'm interested because of your smile or something just
Yes. Yep.
really
Yes.
random, but I get it a lot. And so I just love to call it the Holy Spirit, all that is packaged into one. And I'm so excited because it's like my spirit leaps with your spirit, or as one of my coaches calls it, we kind of lock arms and we walk together, move forward. And so you said yes, and you manifested what you and your husband were touching and agreeing and believing God for. You met your yearly goal.
Mhm.
Um, how long did it take you to finish the training?
Um, so I wanted to make sure that I was doing my due diligence to really inhale and take small bites. So it took me, because I think I started in December and I finished in December. So I would say it took me pretty much the most of about a month to get it all done. But I feel like it can be done in a day, but for me, I learned better when I really, set time aside. So I would set, maybe a couple of hours, on Sunday, to really sit with the information so that I can process and I can take notes and go back over my notes. So it took me about a month to get to get what I needed.
And you were so thorough. Like, I was so glad that I was secretly spying on your journey. And every time I would get a request from you for like, okay, you can unlock this other part of the training. Okay, I'm on this. I was just really watching you take meticulous steps. And I was like, oh, she is serious. Okay. And I can tell where you were in the training. Just based on your request, you would ask clarifying questions. You were just on it. You are my type of learner. You learn like I learn. And then you got hip to the system and you're like, okay, unlock them all. I'm ready to just
Yeah, it's
dive
like, okay, let's
in.
get this.
And you,
I feel like I got my foot. It's good. Let's go. Yes,
I can
I
tell
got
when you
this.
found your groove. And so you were just like,
Yes, ma'am. I'm like, yeah, let's go. We almost, to the end of the month. I got to get this done. I'm good, and I know if I need something else, I know that I can, come to you. And then now I got some more friends on Facebook, some more coaches, to kind of reach out to. So it's been good. So I'm grateful.
yes, and I can tell you were taking your time and really letting everything digest, including connecting in our private Facebook group with our coaches, which is a featured part of the training because I do want you guys to create community and sisterhood and accountability. And everybody in our group knows exactly what it's like to sit on the other side, trying to make
Yeah.
it through the training. You
Yeah.
got this pressure of like you said, I know it can be done in a day. Do I want to push myself? Or once you really get familiar with how it flows, you now put the pedal to the metal and you power forward
Yes.
because you are, meeting that goal and finally accomplishing something that, like you said, you told God yes about years ago. So talk to that person that they may need to hear what you would tell someone else who might be interested or who are wondering, can they do it? That's the most frequently asked question I get is not just can I do it, not just do I have to have my life together to be a coach, but can this really be done?
Ooh, it can most certainly be done. I feel like there is a time and a season for everything. And like I just shared a few minutes ago, God gave me this a long time ago. He had already prepared my heart for such a time as this um, when I was ready. And when I was ready, and I heard you say it, Coach AJ. When the student is ready, the teacher will come. And oh my goodness, I'm you know when you're ready, to make the commitment and do the work, um, it's definitely worth it. And the other thing, what do you always say? There's somebody waiting for you to get to that place so that they can get to that same place. And forgive me because I can't quote it exactly, but I hear you say it all the time. And it when I heard that the first time, it was not the first time that I heard it, but it was like a sweet reminder that there are people that God has ordained for you to get to this place, to get your certification, to get the training, so that you can meet them in that time and place to help them to get to their next steps. So, can it be done? Definitely, when you're ready. When you are ready to take the time to commit to getting the information, getting the understanding, making it your own, and just allowing God, being open to whatever God wants to do and however He wants to do it. So it is definitely worth it. Um, the training is, for me, it was for me. It was a lot of self, becoming self aware. And I took my time, and I answered the questions for myself, um, because even though I don't confess to have anything altogether, I am definitely still a work in progress. But I know, what God has done for me. And I know that what He's done for me, that He'll do for all of us when we're ready. So definitely my encouragement is do the work. Do the work. It's definitely worth it. Open your heart, and just allow God to do what He has already ordained for your life. So just do it. Like
Amen.
Nike.
Okay. Like Nike and like my famous slogan that everybody loves but can't never remember. There's someone somewhere. They are waiting on you to walk your destiny so they can walk
They can
into theirs.
walk into theirs. Yep.
And everybody knows that that's our company motto. That's my personal motto. And I love that that's the driving force behind many of our coaches saying yes and moving forward. Because if you've listened to any of our previous episodes where we've interviewed coaches who successfully made it through the trainings, one of our coaches, Coach Carla, said, by the end of this self-study process, I realized that I had let so many people down because it took me so long to say yes. And so that's what I mean, where there's someone somewhere waiting on you. So while people are on the fence or they're thinking about it, they're arguing about it, they're debating with themselves, they're researching to ad
Right.
nauseum. They are Googling and Facebook living and YouTubing and so many other things. They're drilling and tire kicking and information gathering. And it's people who are literally missing their blessing
Right.
because
Right.
this future Black woman, Christian certified life coach, has not said yes. And so, what's your regular 9 to 5 job? Because I have people who has the mom syndrome where they blame everything on the babies, and I'd be like, don't blame them babies. But I heard you say that you set a schedule out in addition to everything else that you have going on in your life. So, what do you do regularly that you were able to take out time to complete this training?
So my 9 to 5 is I work for a retail nonprofit. And it's part time, and I love it because when I don't want to go, I can take off. So it's great. I love it, especially in this season. So I was able to, and that's the thing. It's about your commitment. So I committed to taking a few hours a day. But Sunday was definitely my day because it's a day where I'm I set aside, for me, I set aside for my son, my husband, just to, to mentally rest. And so for me, like I said, I knew that this was what God had ordained for me because it flowed with my Sunday. I didn't feel like I was working. I felt like I was working on me. And so just having that routine and making sure that I set aside, even if it's 30 minutes to just read, or watch a video or something like that. But I was able to work around my work schedule and plan ahead, to make sure that I did what I needed to do every day.
I like that because, as we know, as Black women, honey, when we want something, we're going to find the time and we're going to
Oh
find the money.
yes, definitely. Yes, I am proof of that.
Me too. And so, talking to those Black women, especially those of us who are educated, we have multiple degrees, we have multiple certificates. I know coaches are in my inbox all the time, like, I have a master's in social work, or I'm already in counseling. Why do I really need to, get this certification, or is it necessary? Like, they ask about the differences. So, are you one of those educated Black women? Like, do you come with degrees already and certificates already that you're combining with your life coach certification?
Well, I have a business degree.
Hmm.
I started taking, and that was one of the questions that I asked you. I had started in the counseling program, but it didn't fit. It just it didn't sit right. It's like I felt like I was fighting for it, and I didn't like the feeling, and so I let it go, and it was one of the best things for me, that I could do, and that's when God um, brought me to you. So
Wow, I haven't heard anybody put it like that. I know that it's different for everybody, and it starts from a place in our heart. I can speak personally to that, starting out at Clark Atlanta University and starting in psychology. And as you get further along, like you said, you start to feel like, I
yeah,
don't know if this is exactly what I was expecting. In my words, I said, God, I don't want to be in no office fighting with nobody and they demons.
yeah,
But that was my journey. But I meet a lot of women who they do have these counseling degrees. They even may have, a master's in life coaching, but they still reach out to me, hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in education later. And they're like, I am still missing something. So
right.
what was that fight for you? Like, what did you mean exactly when you said you felt like you were fighting? Because maybe somebody's in that fight right now.
For me, because one thing I've always had to fight for is peace of mind. Oh my goodness. And in these years, these latter years, I've gotten to the point to where if something doesn't give me peace of mind, I'm gonna put it in front of me and say, okay, why am I actually doing this? And so that was what I did with those classes that I was taking. I had to go to prayer, and I'm like, God, I really don't understand, what this is. And I know we sometimes get in our own way, where we feel like we're supposed to do something. Um, and I mean, I have another, story that talks about my sister. Because I lost my sister in 2019, and one thing that she dealt with was schizophrenia. And so I felt like I was supposed to go into counseling because I felt like she wouldn't have, her story wouldn't have been what it was if she had had somebody to walk with her. And so that was kind of my why of why I was doing it. But then it's like I'm fighting for what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing and my own peace of mind. And so I got to the point to where I was able to take it before God and just really think about, is this mine? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And I felt like it wasn't. And so like I said, I made the decision, and it was a really hard decision because, like I said, we had already started to invest money into it. And then I let it go. And, I just trusted that God would lead me. If that was, what God wanted me to do, I felt like I wasn't going. I wouldn't miss that opportunity. Maybe sometimes you just have to set it to the side and, pursue it later. But in that moment, my peace was more important than what I felt like I was supposed to do.
Ooh, girl, that right there, that last sentence, honey. My peace
Yeah.
was more important. And it's so, oh my goodness, to know that you saved tens of thousands of dollars and then you turn to God and you're like, Lord, is this it?
Right.
Because I feel like I'm fighting for my peace of mind. And this is not to discourage anyone's journey, but like I mentioned, that's one of our most commonly asked questions is certification necessary? So how would you, having been on that counseling journey and now officially a certified life coach, how would you answer that question for someone who is saying, I do have the degrees, I pressed forward, I ignored that tug in my heart that I was fighting with myself, but now I'm still curious about this coaching thing. Is coaching really necessary? Because I did unfortunately invest the time and the money and the, mental bandwidth that it took to hang in there, but I'm still curious about coaching. So, Coach Tomiko, is certification needed or is it necessary?
Definitely. Um, I feel like in anything that you are pursuing, you definitely want to make sure that you know what you know. Um, And when I say know what you know, that means you've done the research, you've put in the time and the hours, um, you made the investment. I feel like I would not reach my full potential if I had not gone through the training, to know. And even though it's not, I think it's accredited. You forgive me. Um, I feel like there's still a lot that needs to be learned. Um, and so if you've already gone to school for counseling and all of that, you've got, just like it's the same thing. You learn all that you need to learn about counseling. And so if you're moving into life coaching, I definitely feel like an investment is needed in order to really know what you know, and know, um, in order to really reach your full potential. So I would definitely say yes. That certification is the best way to go in order to know what it takes to really be the life coach that will help people to reach their full potential.
I agree. And the term accreditation floats around the life coaching industry a lot. And unfortunately, life coaching as an industry is not accredited, if you will. That's for colleges, that's for universities, that's for
Right.
anybody listening that's doing their research and they're asking around about accreditation. Any company that you hear throw the word accreditation out is marketing to you. That's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother part of the
Right.
training. But we are definitely credentialed, and credentialed looks like I eat, sleep, and breathe coaching, and I bring
Right.
everything that I learned back to you guys. And that's how our manual started out, as maybe 10 pages about 2 years ago. And now it's 115 full pages of personal experience, of actual coaching, of allowing you guys to get out in the field, get your hands dirty, not just sit and read about it and check off boxes on a piece of paper saying that you memorize stuff and can regurgitate it, but it's actually practical, hands on. That's where you get credentialing, when you get out and you get your hands dirty and or your feet wet, and you can say that you can coach with the best of them.
Right.
And it's not just fluff, but it's actual stuff that you are going to use. And so I know a lot of people are in the research phase of looking at different trainings. What is one thing that you would say set us apart? I know you mentioned, a little about what caught your eye and made you say yes, but take me out of it if you can, and talk about one thing that you noticed that set us apart from the other things that you were seeing out there on the internet streets.
Um, well, the information was presented in a way that it can be chewed and swallowed. I didn't feel overwhelmed with a bunch of information, which one thing I'm still working on is, trying to take on too much at one time and then not doing anything with it. But with this training, it was everything I needed and the way I needed it. There were, that was the information, but there was also the videos, of just being able, and even now, if I need to go back to it, and like if I wanted to hear about, so before one of my sessions, I went back to the video and actually watched one of the coaching sessions, and how it was supposed to go, and then the wheel of life and how that was supposed to go. So everything is right there. You can go straight to it. You don't have to, go through a lot of information. It was presented in a way, um, that can speak to every different type of learner. Um, and that's what made the difference for me. I could take my time, and it just wasn't overwhelming, for me. It was just presented in a way, um, that in just small tidbits at a time. And even, um, like the books and just different things like that, have helped me to just really receive and understand, and be able to use the information that I've learned.
It's awesome. So as we wrap up our time here together, I got 3 bonus questions for you. They kind of like lightning round. So just say what comes to mind. You ready?
Yes.
So, what was your biggest takeaway from the 1 day Black woman Christian life coach certification training?
The one thing, um, that it's mine, that I can do this, um, that the research and all the information that I need is already there. It's just a matter of me owning it and making it my own.
And what surprised you most about the training?
Um, I think you. And just how, I mean, just how presentable you were, and just you were so easy to talk to, and you communicated in a way that I can understand, and you always answer the questions. So just having that one-to-one connection, I think that was the most shocking thing for me.
And finally, what is something that you learned about yourself by becoming a Black woman Christian certified life coach?
That I can do this. That it has always been in me to do it, and just opening up to the opportunity and telling God yes, and shooting for the stars, just moving forward with it.
I want to say thank you so much for trusting me to be a part of this journey. I am screaming on the inside. I may sound a little, reserved, but your future as a coach is so inspiring. And I know whoever hears this episode, they're going to use it to help them propel forward, because we believe in pouring back and giving back, and now serving as legacy builders, legacy leavers, mentors, all the things that we represent in our Facebook community of coaches. I just know that the way I saw you learn and make your way through this training made my baby leap, made
Mm.
me just, get so excited for the future coaches that are coming, because I know that we have a program that works. Thank you for being coach, what, 170? Is it three?
Two, two,
Two.
yeah.
So we've had
I think it was
some
72.
172, and we have had some after you as well.
Yeah.
And it was a race to see who would be our last coach of, what was it, 2021. Now we have
2021.
new coaches in 2022, which one of them you referred. So thank you so much. You referred our very first coach of 2022. And this is what I love to see, coaches spreading the word, which also helps us spread the gospel. So
Yeah.
just thank you again for trusting
Thank
us to be
you.
part of your journey. And guys listening, well, ladies listening, remember, there is someone somewhere. They are waiting on you to walk in your destiny so they can walk into theirs. Because when you impact just one life, even if that one life is yours, you impact generations. So, if you're interested in getting more information on the 24-hour Black Woman Life Coach Certification Self-Study System, you can email me at aj@thebossof.me. Again, aj@thebossof.me. And we'll see y'all next time. God bless. Bye, y'all.